Welcome back to Trailer Trash Flips. My name is Mac and I buy things to sell on eBay and try to make a profit. Today is Thursday. I've got 6 orders going out from the last couple of days. I actually had 2 orders that I shipped out Tuesday. I didn't do any filming because I was on the phone when I was getting those packed up. I'll show you what those 2 items were also. I've spoken before about FOMO, the fear of missing out, getting to me, and today it almost got to me. There was a church sale today. Well, there is going to be a church sale today, and it starts at noon. And I'm like, I really want to go to this sale. The problem is it's about 45 minutes away. Now, the area that I live in basically consists of 3 large cities that are all independent, but for the most part, they're kind of intermingled together. So when it comes to sourcing for eBay, you really have to kind of cover all the areas. Well, you don't have to, but you're missing out if you say, well, I don't want to travel here or I don't want to travel there, because there's a lot of opportunity in the area as a whole. And I almost had convinced myself that I was going to go to this church sale. But since it started at 12, I would need to leave my house about 11. I'm sure there would be a small line to get in. And even if I only spent 30 minutes at the church sale, by the time that I got back home, it would be almost 1:30. I did ultimately decide that I just couldn't invest 2.5 hours into going to one sale. If there were some other sales in the area that I could go to make the trip more worthwhile, I probably would have done it, but not just for the one trip, because that's a lot of time that I could spend listing. And there's also the fact that I spend a lot of the weekend sourcing, so it makes going sourcing during the week just not so practical, especially since I have such a large death pile and I'm not super reliant on bringing in new items. I will say that I am a bit jealous of people like husbands and wives who work together on eBay. The ability to go out and source and have 2 people with the same purpose going out looking for inventory would really be nice. And not to mention having 2 people who are doing listing, where you could, at least in theory, have twice as many items getting listed. I do go out and source with my friend Kim, but since we're competitors, there's no advantage to either one of us when it comes to sourcing. The only real advantage is that we can take one vehicle and save on the fuel expense of bringing out 2 vehicles. I do think I have it dialed in pretty good right now with the amount of new inventory I'm bringing in versus the amount that I'm able to get listed. Lately, I've been able to get everything that I bring in on the weekend listed and go into my death pile a little bit. So I am making progress with that. So enough rambling about that. Let me show you the items that I sold. The first 2 items that I show you are going to be the items that I sent out Tuesday. And thankfully, they're both ties from the 215 ties that I bought. And this first one is a Perry Ellis polka dot tie. And it's sold for $16.99 plus shipping. And the second one is I believe it's pronounced Mignon Faget fleur-de-lis tie. And it sold for $20. I had it listed for, I think, $26.99 or $27.99. And the buyer sent an offer of $18. I countered back with $23. He countered back with $20, and we settled on that. Going out today are 2 soup bowls, and these sold for $7.91 plus shipping. And I remember buying these style of mugs at several estate sales, so I don't know exactly how much I paid for those or really which estate sale they came from. I know at one of the estate sales I bought like 5 or 6 of the mugs, but I don't know if those are the ones from that estate sale or not. Next is a PTO engagement cable for John Deere mowers, and it's sold for $7.99 plus shipping, and it came from the bin store for 50 cents. Next is a Sunbeam massager. It sold for $42.99 plus shipping, and it came from an estate sale just last weekend for $5. This is the one that I thought was brand new in the box, and when I opened it up and checked it out, it was brand new. Next is a 3 DVD set, Great Artists of the Italian Renaissance. These sold for $13.67 plus shipping, and they came from an estate sale for, I think, $3. The next item is boxed up, but it's a Rattleware cupping brewer. And that sold for $18.99 plus shipping. And it came from a bundle deal at an estate sale. And I remember paying $20 for the entire bundle. So I don't know how much I have into that, but it's not more than a couple dollars. The next item is a baseball bat. It's a Marucci Cat X Vanta 3330, and it's sold for $101.99. I originally had it listed for like $119.99, which may have been a little high. And I sent, I think, 15% off, and it sold almost immediately. Before I get into what sold today, I've got a question for those of you who are Top Rated Plus sellers. Now, I know that with Top Rated Plus, you get like 10% off your final value fees or something like that. But aside from the discount that you get on those fees, if you're a Top Rated Plus seller, do you believe that you have better visibility on eBay? Because I keep seeing where eBay says you have something like enhanced visibility with your products if you're Top Rated Plus. And I don't know if that applies to just regular Top Rated. I am Top Rated, and a lot of times I feel like I just don't have the visibility that I would like. And I want to tell you why. We all have local competitors in our area, and some of our local competitors also make videos on YouTube, and I do watch them. It's often said that you should not compare yourself to other resellers. However, I don't think that I'm trying to compare myself to other resellers. What I'm really doing is comparing identical items that we sell and how fast their items seem to sell versus mine that just sit around for a long time. And it's not just my experience, it's also my friend Kim's experience. I think the reality for sellers on eBay is many of your items are going to sit around for a long time. And that is certainly the case with me. Now, I won't discount the fact that this reseller also has a YouTube channel and could potentially be getting viewer sales. But it does make me wonder if being Top Rated Plus does have some of these visibility benefits because they are Top Rated Plus and I'm not. The main reason that I have not tried to be Top Rated Plus, beyond the fact that I would have to offer free returns, although I don't think that's the biggest deal, it's doing same day or next day shipping. I'm just not sure that I would be able to do that all the time. And I don't want to get hemmed up with late shipments because of it. However, if the visibility benefits were that much greater for Top Rated Plus, I think I would try to give it a shot. So let me know if you're Top Rated Plus, if you really think that you get better visibility on eBay. So moving on to my crappy sales this weekend, I've only got 4 items going out. The first thing, a 6-pack of carbon pre-filters, and these sold for $8.79 plus shipping, and these came from the bin store for either 50 cents or $1. Next is a Pier 1 canister. It sold for $11.99 plus shipping, and this came from a garage sale. Well, it was really an estate sale that was more like a garage sale for $2. She originally wanted $3 for it, and I just couldn't put $3 into that. I actually got a message from the buyer before they bought this, and they said, could you lower the price on shipping because the shipping was going to be $11.99. And I did tell them that I don't have any control over the shipping, and I was guessing that they were probably on the West Coast. And this is going to be a 3-pound shipper because by itself it weighs like 1 pound 12 ounces. So I explained to them I didn't have any control over the shipping. I also told them that I just started a sale in my store, so the price of the item was a little bit cheaper because I had it originally listed at $14.99 and I was running a 20% off sale, so they ended up buying it. Next is 2 vintage soup bowls. These sold for $8.79 plus shipping, and I know these probably came from an estate sale. I just don't remember which one because I've bought several sets of these in the last year or so. And the last item going out is a Marucci Volition bat, and it sold for $47.99, and that came from the bat buy where I paid $90 for the 7 bats. And that's really all I've got today. I'm really concerned that the summer slowdown may be starting early. Here's what I picked up this weekend at some estate sales. We went to one family-run estate sale, and I got all these things here. I got 4 of these My Little Pony Build-A-Bears. There's a pink one, a blue one, a yellow one, and a purple one. And I was trying to remember how much I paid for these. I thought they wanted 10, maybe I paid 12. I can't really remember for sure. I did comp these, and it looks like they're probably going to be between $10 and $20 a piece, probably $20 on the high range. And I've never really had a whole lot of luck with Build-A-Bear, but these were cheap enough that I figured I would go ahead and take a chance on them. They had this watch for an American Girl doll, and it was unpriced. So when I asked her how much it was, she just said it was free and I could take it. They also had these really cool insulated tumblers. And the first one is Kroil, which is an oil kind of like WD-40. And a Sinclair motor oil. I don't think that these are officially made from these companies. It looks like these were maybe some type of sublimation. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell these or not. But they were only 50 cents each and they were brand new. So if worse comes to worse, I could just use those myself. They also had this Cuisinart sauce pot and basting brush set. I saw comps between 15 and 20 on eBay. And this one's still brand new in the package. It was only $2. They also had this really cool Whirlpool telephone. It's set up like a stove, an oven, and a microwave. I did find some comps on eBay around $50 for this. But, you know, it's these kind of things that you just don't see all that often, and they're really super cool. So I'm going to have to find someone with a landline and see if this thing works. They had a couple of these Christmas Story ornaments. I think they're brand new. I'm not sure. I'll have to look a little bit more. But if they're not, they're in really good shape. I saw some comps on them. I don't quite remember what they were. And they had these two Family Guy ornaments. I'm pretty sure these are used. I know it's been opened right here, but it looks like they've been probably taken out. These were also only $2. I did see some of these listed separately. I don't really remember how much they were, but again, for $2, I had to get those. We went to a church sale and I got these things. First, there was this Farberware knife block. It was only 50 cents. I didn't even bother comping it. It's probably not worth all that much, but again, it was only 50 cents. So I already had these in my hand and I saw this box of some Rainbird pressure compensating emitters. It's some kind of little fittings, and they also had these 1/2-inch tees. Now on the box it said make offer. Since I already had these in my hand and they were only 50 cents, I offered him $5 for all of that and he gladly accepted it. Now comps on these, I saw some sold on eBay between $15 and $20 free shipping, and I don't know how many are in here, maybe 7 or 8 bags of them. And there are also quite a few of these fittings. And I did see a comp for one of these T fittings for like $4 and something plus shipping. These are some Louisiana cookie cutters, and they originally came from a store called Gotchaw's. And at one point Gotchaw's had, I guess, merged or something like that with another store, and they became Gotchaw's Maison Blanche. So since these only say Gotchaw's, that means these are really old, which doesn't necessarily make them super valuable, but they are cool nonetheless. Probably, in my opinion, more cool because they have the big Gotchaw's sticker on here. Originally, it came with an alligator, a crab, a crawfish, a pelican, a state of Louisiana, and whatever that is, but it is missing the alligator cookie cutter. At the last estate sale we went to, I found the Sty Master. It was outside, unpriced, under the carport, and I had to go in and ask how much it was, and she said $3. It looks almost like it's never been used. I wish the box was in a little bit better condition, but either way, at $3, it's kind of hard to miss on that. Now, I almost messed up, and I completely passed over this Nikon Light Touch AF camera. And I should have learned my lesson before, because I picked up some really cheap looking cameras that had some value to them. When I checked comps on this camera just now, one that was pre-owned sold for $179.95, and another was on auction and sold for $74. It was 25% off at this estate sale, so the camera ended up being $750, and it even has some original paperwork in there. So I do want to test this camera before I list it, just to be sure it's working properly. They also had this LSU helmet deal to put your cans in to help keep them cold. It was $2, so it would have been $1.50. I found some comps, not on the LSU one, but on some other teams, and I saw everything from between 99 cents up to $25. So I don't have any idea how much I'll list this one for yet. Typically, selling things just because it says LSU on it is not really that great. Unfortunately, most of the estate sales and garage sales, if they have something that says LSU on it, they price it up because they think it's more valuable. But unfortunately, on the secondary market, it's not quite as valuable as they usually think it is. And the last thing I got from that estate sale are some magazines. Most of these are Louisiana cooking magazines. There are a few Taste of the South. I did not comp any of the Taste of the South magazines. I pulled up a few comps on Louisiana cooking, and most of these single issues sell between $5 and maybe $7. The magazines were unpriced, so I asked her how much for all of them, and she said $3. So that was pretty much a no-brainer. I probably got maybe 25, 30 magazines here total. So that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.